kind of game that, on paper you should win, but coaches kind of, I know coaches never think that way.
No, we just worry about trying to get better in practice, prepare for your opponent, and get better in practice. I think if you deviate your preparation and the way you do things as a coach, then your players will follow suit. So I'm liable to be more intense the next 2 days in practice, so my players know it's not okay to judge our opponent by their record. So I think the same goes if you're playing the number one team in the country. You got to go about your preparation the same way. The problem for you as a coach is your guys are going to pay a lot more attention if you're playing the number one team in the country. So, I think, my message to our guys is I thought Temple was really ready to play, and I asked them why. Well, we're picked to win the league. We're ranked in the top 25, and we're picked to win our conference. So I think that, our guys have to expect that everybody in our conference, as long as we're in first place or as long as we were picked to win the league, as long as we're in the top 25, is going to be ready to play against us. And they're going to be focused, just like DePaul was at Villanova the other night.
Is that a mindset you have to impart on these kids to be?
You can try, but you and I have talked about that. You can try a lot of things and make sure your guys are always focused and always ready to play. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see. I try to just really stay focused on improving in practice and making sure our guys are pushing forward. So I'm a big believer. You got to get better. You got to get better every day. You got to get better week by week. It just gets harder and harder to win games. And you got to evolve as a team. And there's areas where we're always looking to improve. So like if you look at our road games, we're not scoring enough points at Butler, at Iowa State, even though we won, at Temple. Those are that's one area where we've got to get better at executing against great defense. So you're always trying to figure out some way where you can improve. So that's all I'm focused on.
You talked about how important the bench is for this team. Was it big for those guys to go on the road and have a game where they were able to help you out like they did?
Yeah, I thought we needed every bucket we could. So I would say somewhere near 33% of our offense probably came from our bench in that game. So we needed every one of them as well. So I just think I've said this all along, those guys are the key. Those guys are a big key for us. So the more they, especially, Quad's been around, but the rest of them, especially the freshmen, Trey, Jaron, even Justin, contributing in big games, in this year, those guys being in those kind of games, you would hope that it's going to just make them better players. So the next time they're in that moment, in that game on the road, that they're going to be more comfortable.
Was Trey maybe a little farther along than you thought at this?
Well, he's redshirted, so he had the advantage of being in practice. But I'll tell you, aptitude is the most. So it's probably the hardest thing to recruit because you have no idea what somebody's aptitude to learn is until you get them in practice. But it's probably the most important thing for a player to improve. I would say of all the guys I've ever coached, Kenyon Martin had the best. His ability to learn and apply it to his game was the reason he developed the way he did. It was just unbelievable. Trey Scott has tremendous aptitude. He runs around and makes rotations that on the defensive end that only seniors usually do. On the offensive end, he's learning how to adjust his game and his skill level right now to being effective. And so I give him some things. He's able to apply. He understands why I'm giving him what I'm giving him right now, and he can apply it, which it allows me to play him more because he's an effective player. But a lot of that's mental. He's tremendous aptitude. So no, you don't know that really until you get a guy.
At what point in your coaching career did you become such a strong advocate of deflections?
You know, when I was with Coach Huggins, we didn't chart deflections, but obviously we played so hard on the defensive end but you know, Coach Pitino, the deflection chart originated with Hubie Brown, and working for Coach Pitino and learning the history of the deflection chart and the importance of the deflection chart. And obviously taking it with me to Murray State. You know, it's a way to chart your effort. Because two things you can't do unless you try. Get a deflection, but get a rebound. Because it takes effort to block a shot or deflect a pass. It takes effort to pick up a loose ball. It takes effort to go get a rebound. So those are two areas that chart your effort and how hard your team is playing. I think, and it's important that your guys understand that. You know, so again, we won on the road. We got 33 deflections. We didn't get to 40. We weren't pressing. We were scared to do too much trapping because they hurt West Virginia when they passed out of it. They banged in a lot of threes. But without a lot of trapping and without a lot of we didn't really do a lot of confusion stuff on defense. We still got 33 because our energy was tremendous. So we watched the film with our team, and I'm showing them this is why we're getting deflections. We were denying passes that they didn't throw because we were going to get a deflection. It's it's like sales. You can't it takes what they say in sales. It takes 10 calls to get four return visits to get 2 sales. So you got to try all the time. You can't just try every once in a while and get one. You're not going to get a deflection every time you try to get in the passing lane. So if you're in the passing lane all the time and you're pressuring the ball all the time, you're going to get around 40 or in the 30s. So it's just a way to chart effort. So
why is that such a good indication of winning or losing?
It's amazing. Hubie Brown's the originator would say that if you get your number, you're going to win 95% of your games. Probably it shows that you're disrupting the other team's offense, and you're creating. That's one aspect of it. The other thing is, if you look at a game like our Temple game, some of the baskets we got off Trey Scott's steal on an inbounds. And then the pass ahead to I think Jacob for a layup. That basket right there is like it's gold. You're trying to grind it out. Nobody can make an open shot, missing free throws, but all of a sudden you get a layup right there. And if you don't get that layup, they may bang in a 3. So it affects the game in a whole lot of ways. You get transition baskets, you disrupt the other team, and you take them out of their flow, which when a team's out of their flow, they tend to shoot a lower percentage. Teams are comfortable running their offense. They get what they want. They get what they practice. And when they get what they practice, that's when they're going to shoot a higher percentage. So it just shows you're taking things away from your opponent. If you're not taking things away from your opponent, they're getting what they want on you. They're going to find a rhythm, especially a very good team. They'll hurt you. They can hurt you really bad. So it's something that's been really successful, I think, for most of the coaches that I know that use it in the way the guys, from my whether it's myself or Kevin Willard or some of the guys under Coach Pitino use it.
Most of your players, when they get here, do your players know about how much you play?
They learn. They learn.
They don't usually
Well, they learn. No, but they learn because it's we chart deflect, like our guys know it's on the board at all times. So when they come in at halftime, they're looking because they come in at halftime. It's your name and how many deflections you have, and it's up there after the game. And in between games, it's always up there. It's up there who's leading the team in deflections. It's also, we break it down per minute played. So, it's how many you're getting per minute you play, because you can't get them from the bench. And we talk to them about it all the time. All the time.
I know you do.
And they you know, so what happens is they're into it. You know, they're always looking. They're also always hustling TJ Wolf, who's in charge of deflections. Everybody's always hustling him, trying to get, you know, saying that they had 3 instead of 2, or, you know, 5 instead of 4.
If you don't get a certain amount of deflections, do you have to run or anything like that?
No, we don't go that far with it, but it might affect your playing time, especially in conference play in crucial situations.
And what's that number when you get 40 deflections?
We haven't lost in 5 years.
5 years.
But like, you know, Hubie Brown would say you're going to win 95% of your games if you get to your deflection number.
Can you talk a little bit more about Jacob and what he brings, like
Offense.
Explosive plays, and he
Well,
can
it's
make
just,
things happen.
yeah, I mean, you know, look, if you're going to be a real team, you got to have answers. You know, you got to have a guy that can get you a basket that you can go to, that can create offense, and he can deliver. You know, aside from Jacob is extremely sound on the defensive end. He's an extremely intelligent player, but he's evolving as a go-to guy on offense. I think that's important. I think you got to have that as a great team. You got to have a guy that you can get you a basket or get fouled in crunch time. So you look at two wins. Iowa State, he gets fouled, wins the game at the foul line. Marshall, he bangs in a 3, gets us to overtime so we can win the game. You know, so trying to get him to evolve in that role it's big for us going forward.
I was talking to one of the scouts the other night. Real impressed with him. What's his vertical? Do you guys measure that?
Yeah, he's a good athlete.
Yeah.
I would tell you, Jacob will tell you, he's lost weight from last year. His body fat's way down. Mike Rayfeld's done a tremendous job with him. You know, usually a guy makes a huge jump freshman to sophomore year is because you got them starting in April to change their body, versus when you get them in the summer, you know, somewhere in the midsummer, you don't have as much time. They're just they're in shock with whatever you're hitting them with, versus that summer between freshman and sophomore year, where you see a guy like he and Justin made a big jump, you know, and what slowed Trey's jump, I think, is, you know, and he got it back, but, you know, he developed mono and lost 27 pounds. And it took him a while to get all that back. But Jake's a much better athlete this year because his body fat's way down.
Coach, one last one.
He might be off the Cinnabons too. You know, Mike works really hard with our guys. He really, in all seriousness, he works really hard with our guys on trying to. You think if you just inundate them with nutrition stuff, you know, young kids are only going to, they're going to act like they're not listening, but the serious ones, they're listening. And it takes time to get them to understand the value of mustard instead of mayonnaise. Steve Logan was a big mayonnaise guy. Never forget the look on his face when I told him how fattening it was.
Now I know the key.
Justin Jennifer, 40% from 3, 3-1 assist to turnover. What more can you ask out of him so far this year?
Better defense on the three-point line.
Okay.
And he knows that.
Okay.
You know what? One thing for Justin is, I told him we got this in common. Can't recover as well to shooters at 5'7". So if you're guarding a shooter, you can't wander away too much and help or position yourself for a steal because you can't get back the way your teammates can get back. Trey Scott can get back in one stride, in one jump. You know, Jacob Evans, you know, when you don't have the height and you're on a shooter, you got to be careful. Wandering off, trying to position yourself to maybe steal the ball from a dribbler, but you just can't get back to that shooter in time. So it's just an area where, you know, he'll get better at it. He'll understand. And he's positioned himself to try to help his team. He's just got to be careful because you're guarding a great shooter. That can change the game. A guy bangs in a couple threes, but he continues to get better. His attitude's great, and I'll predict to him he's going to have a monster game for us at some point here in a big game and win us a game.
Let me ask you a question just about Mike Dunleavy. Coaches like him and Sampson, are they bringing in maybe more NBA concepts into the league? What do they bring?
Well, I think it brings credibility to your league. For our league, Tubby Smith joins the league, Mike Dunleavy joins the league. I haven't slept much. I know other guys joined the league, but I was, Coach Dunleavy, NBA player, 17 years an NBA head coach, decides that, I believe because spending time with his son that's coaching at Villanova, got interested in the college game. So it's great for basketball that somebody like him is back. He's not coaching for the money, he's coaching for the enjoyment. But I've gotten a chance to get to speak to him. Very humble guy, very just a great guy. So, you meet somebody that's won an NBA title as a coach, you wonder if he's even going to say hi to you. So that was just a really good person.